Hello YouTube, welcome to another episode of The Little Stove Build. I hope people aren't tired of watching this. I mean, I'd rather make more parts and cover stuff than not cover them. Okay, how we drilled the holes in this. We'll try to make this as quick as painless as we can. Okay, here's our template. We got holes punched in here, okay? What we did after we got our washer cleaned up is we taped our washer down on top of this. So say this is what we did. We taped our washer down on top of this exactly, okay? Exactly centered. See where it's exactly centered? We taped it on there, then flipped it over and punched the marks, the 4 marks. Okay, now here's a good tip when you're drilling these holes. Have 2 bits of every size, because say you drilled your first hole, right? When you drill your first hole, stick a bit in there. Because even though you got this bolt together set down the right, it can still spin. So when you drill your first hole, say it was, whatever, 1/8 of an inch for a pilot bit. Stick that bit in there. Even if it's one this small. Stick it in there so this cannot turn. Go around and make your holes. Okay? And then when you come back to drill this one out, have another bit, like say this side, and stick it in the hole before you drill the last one. So always have a bit stuck in the hole when you're drilling the other 3. We're going to show you this part where we talked about you got to have the clearance. I scratched the Sharpie off with the awl there. See that? You got to have that clearance. You don't want it to be like that because the hole's too big. See how it's overlapped and it won't shut off all the way. This is just a common bolt laid in my cordless drill. So you can use a file, do whatever you want, do it at your own risk. This is just common bolt. It's a shame when they got that head on it like that. I hate those bolts with a lip. But they're cheap and it's what I can afford. Okay. See that? This is 1/4 inch bigger. If I went 5/16, you'd barely have it. And I want enough for this to shut off. But like I said, if this was bigger, I mentioned in a video, you could have a whole bunch of little holes drilled in here. And you could make this welded that so when you turn it, it just unscrews and opens up. I've seen that done. Well, we're going to have another optional air intake on this stove. It's all in the designing stage. See where this is taller than this way? See where the lines match up? When you take the same measurement, use this for a scribe. See how it went past, because it's a little bit bigger. But I did pretty good. It's just a stove. But I've been doing my best, my backyard machining. Chamfer. People say it's chamfer. It's chamfer. Look it up. Look for that old western called High Chaparral, where you know the leather chaps that a cowboy wears on the front of his pants. Those aren't chaps, they're chaps. I remember that TV show, The Pickers, and chewing them out about this old guy. They're chaps. I just like being different. This is marked everywhere. Top. See that T? It's marked top there. And there's a little bit of defect down there I picked for the bottom. See, so I always know that's the bottom. This has a little itty bit. Here comes the heater. There's a punch mark on here. See it through the Sharpie? So keep it organized. Okay, that's what I can say on that. And we decided to put just plain old hinges on the stove. We thought about a special latch thing, something in the shop, or turning something, maybe in the future on something. But we're just going to build some simple hinges. That's why we did not want this too big. If you put this together, let's put it together again. That's why we do not want this too big, because we're going to need the pivot thing here for our latch, okay? And we're going to need room up here for our hinges. Otherwise, you could have made this bigger. Like I said, this is going to be more for decoration, pretty look at the fire. We're going to have an optional air intake. We're going to figure it out. Because we don't want to go through all this trouble making a stove and it can't burn unless the door's partway open. I've already went through that and had to modify stuff. There you go. This is stuck in the drill with a nut on it, and then sandpaper polished with the cordless drill spinning. Make sure you go the right way. If the drill's spinning this way, put your sandpaper. Don't go up against something coming at you like this. If it's coming down, don't poke stuff in there. Make sure you're over here where it's going away from you. Don't ever do that on a buffer wheel or anything. You'll wish you never did when something grabs. Imagine that come down grabbing that. See, scared you, didn't I? Oh. Okay, we're going to take a break. And we don't want this episode to be too long. I don't even know what number it is. I'm guessing it could be number 6. So that's it. Got some pictures, and we don't plan on doing any more else in this episode besides start making the hinges. So hopefully we'll have the hinges done. You might see more pictures of me talking to keep the video short. Okay, we're making our hinges. We got pictures of that in the jig. So there's 3 sides welded. We're going to try to taper those welds with the Dremel. That's pretty globby there. But I had the welder turned down. Just for my reference, I had it on C instead of D, and had the wire speed on 3. Usually I run on bake stuff 4 and D. This was 3 and C. Just for my reference. A lot of work. We'll be back when this is cleaned up. Here's a before and after look of the welds. Took a lot of grinding. I'm using the beggar cutter discs with the woven stuff. They're wore down, 2 of them together. They grind pretty good because I have more of them than the little cutter discs. And I used a bunch of them cutting up this steel for this, so you're recycling the last little small pieces. Works pretty good. They grind away a lot of metal. You don't have to have a super high speed either. That's the shape of it. It'll be good enough style. And then the other piece comes off that you'll see. You'll see how it's made. Break time. Took some imagination to figure out how to do this. Because I want it all bolted and all the hinges made before I weld this piece to here, which has to be shortened to the line. So this bit is smaller than that bolt that I'm going to use. Whoa, don't crash in there. I think you see what I'm doing. Okay, take 3. Look for the record light. Make sure your hinges do not hit. See this corner in here? Depends on how you make them. Sometimes that can hit on something. These will all be rounded to make it look better. That did work good to make that slot inset them. Oh, I rounded these, it looks better. I burned off the corner welding, so I just went ahead and went for it. Find whatever you can find to make the radius. It does look better, so it takes away some of the, everything square. I'm going to flip the screw around so you don't see the nut, so the screw's on top here. So we'll clean up all these nasty welds. We'll be back with some pictures, and that'll be about it for this episode. We're still designing the handle. Well, we're done with this episode. I wish we could leave this polished. I think it looks like a bank vault door. We've got a lot of work to do on the air intake. It's going to have a secondary air intake that comes from the back. This will just be kind of pretty to look at the fire, but it'll be functional. I rounded the sharp edges of the hinges. Give you plenty of pictures. Always look at the pictures. You might see something I missed talking about. So there we go. We're done for the day. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this build.